So as you know that the president has finally sent his fit and strong soldiers to the township. So in this video, we're going to talk about 5 things that will go wrong with this. And if you stay with me until my biblical reaction, I'm hoping you'll get something that you want to share to open someone's mind, because South Africa will prosper. You ready? Okay. Press like and let's go.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has formally authorized the SANDF's deployment to support the police in 5 provinces. He's confirmed the year-long operation will cost over 800 million rand, and some of the troops have their boots on the ground in crime-ridden Gauteng communities.
These gangs are highly organized, highly armed, and therefore you need that extra layer of support given to the police in order to deal with these levels of violence. Communities have been raising these issues for quite some time. The president has saw it fit that we need a coordinated response amongst our security forces to deal with these levels of violence.
Do these deployments solve crime problems, or do they simply provide temporary relief?
No, they don't provide a solution. So what we see is when the military is deployed, and we see it across in other countries, especially in Latin American countries which are facing similar crises, is that it does provide what we call a temporary negative peace. In other words, the military is able to stabilize the situation for a while, but as soon as they leave, then violence returns and is often exacerbated. And we saw this after when the military was deployed previously, how in actual fact the crime levels increased after that. So it can provide temporary relief, but not a long-term solution. Their skill set to de-escalate conflict is not there, so they typically resort to intimidation or force or violence to force compliance. The other thing is that the more you deploy your military now in an internal role, the more you are taking the military away from its actual combat roles that it's supposed to be fulfilling. I mean, if you think of how many soldiers are currently deployed against illegal mining in the crime-ridden areas and gang violence, compared to what we are actually needing on our borders, which is one of their primary tasks, you can see the implications of using the military in this role in the long term.
So this is the general sentiment of opposition parties.
Well, I appreciated the intervention by the army in the areas where gangsterism has taken over the streets of our townships. And that is a confirmation that the South African police services have dismally failed. The president is just scared to say they've lost confidence in the South African police services, hence the army. We are happy that the army is coming. We are going to restore law and order.
So I find this whole thing triggering, so I'd rather keep my words few and say it like this. Send the soldiers in, the president said. Crime must fear the state instead. So boots marched out through dust and mine, through township roads and narrow lines. 30 years they ruled the land, with angry politics that bind working hands. Envy and blame helped corruption thrive, while gangs and syndicates stayed alive. Now children watch where soldiers stand with heavy rifles in their hands. Once long ago, those boots brought fear. In darker days, they marched right here. The party that promised you will be free today sends boots in the streets, you see. Power and money from tenders, not dreams. Pulling apartheid like a slot machine, feeding the fire while taking their share. Now soldiers march streets laid bare. And somewhere in the halls nearby, they still whisper about a group of 5. Witness A spoke, the room went still. But no one knows them clearly still. Through talk of cops and hidden files, sometimes they mention Malima's name. No proof, no charge, just rumors alive. While people ask, who are the big 5? But the soldiers guard the streets tonight, their rifles bright beneath the lights. But boots can't chase the hidden drive of those who sit above the crime. For politicians walk one step for votes, where speeches sail and headlines float, but 3 steps out beyond the vote, the deeper damage still will grow. My biblical reaction and the 5 things that will likely go wrong. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. Number 1, we saw that our top generals take loans, are friends with criminals. So if you're going after organized crime, I suspect that the generals already phoned the organized criminals to say the army's going, which brings us to number 2 thing that will go wrong. When you send in an army like this, when the police are completely hopeless, you just displace the criminals. If you stay too long, they just set up shop next door, because the police and the syndicates are one entity. Number 3, if you're talking organized crime and you send in the military, guess what happens? Organized crime also militarizes. So by the time the army leaves, it costs $1 billion a year. We don't have much money as a country because most voters don't know what economic growth is, and therefore they vote against economic growth. Therefore, not enough money. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please get this copy for yourself. It's free. So, number 4, the police are trained to investigate, military are not. Intelligence, I'm not sure if military intelligence is going through, but it's not the right kind. Putting together evidence, military is not trained for that. Negotiating with civilians, military is not trained for that. And so, the force that the military brings is really just for politicians to look good. Number 5, it's very interesting that Julius Malema, who was talking about our trauma as black people when dealing with Kat Matlala, doesn't see our trauma as black people when you send soldiers to where I live. It kind of triggers me that some citizens are being searched by soldiers right now. And I understand and I support law and order when there's a need, but not they are being searched by soldiers right now because comrades are making illicit money through the police force, and they have destroyed the institutions of the state. And now the citizens, particularly their voters, are the ones who have to suffer a downgrade in dignity. The army is not to manage citizens. We have police for that. This is for you. See, politicians think in terms of one step. Oh, we need jobs. Okay, let's start building bridges and infrastructure so we hire them. One step. And what's important to understand is that life doesn't operate in one step. There's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. When you start thinking step 2, step 3, step 4, now things look very different. You realize that it also becomes very obvious how things go wrong. Right now we're operating under ANC policy that's just emotional about the West versus the East and the global South, but it's just pure emotion. And it works well because you have comrades trying to rile up your anger and all that sort of stuff, and we fall for it because you want to feel protective about your country. But you look at what they're doing and you're like, after you prove a point, what happens? Your cousin's still in a shack. So what are you on about? What are you doing? What are you doing? We should be signing deals with everyone. It's so easy to fall for all this nonsense while cousins, friends, brothers are still in shacks, and they'll still be in shacks after you've proved a point that you can beat your chest against America. Am I pro-America? I'm pro-South Africa. Oh, so you want to... Nigga, please. And so, what should be happening? We should be thinking step 1, 2, 3, 4. We want our land back. They took it from us many years. Okay, cool. Step 1, step 2. What's step 3? Step 3 is you being a Zimbabwean in South Africa working for zero wages with zero workers' rights because they took the land. They never thought about step 3. It's our industry. We must take our industry off our fathers. Cool. What's step 3, step 4? Is you working in South Africa as a Zimbabwean with us saying, Abahambe, and yes, I support it. Abahambe, fix the borders. Law and order matters. If you want to get to thinking in step 2, step 3, step 4, please download the Soft Life. I'm giving it to you for free, and share it with anyone that you want to share it with, because this is important for South Africa to prosper. So let me hear your thoughts below. But no man can serve two masters. Either he'll love the one or hate the other, or he'll despise the one and honor the other. You can't serve God and Karl Marx. Karl Marx tells you to think step 1, step 2. Step 1, the rich are richer than the poor. Step 2, make them equal. Solved. How does God have you think that there's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death? So let's make history together. Cheers.